steering wheel. Loves the steering wheel, yeah. Give him steering wheel. Hey, steering wheel. Somebody tell him to give it to him. Come on! Whoa!
Your leg, my please. Your leg hip.
How the f*** that's possible?
I'm driving like a grandma. Get that, Ralph? Did you hear me? Proper radio. Ralph, acknowledge. Now, come on, close him down and kill him. We've got a lunatic on the track. Down that mistake.
Boys and girls, your attention, please.
Hello and welcome back inside Depart from April podcast number 982, the Chinese Grand Prix review. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
AKA Negative Camera. You know what we do on race weekends, or you should by now.
We watch one, then we talk about it. Then we watch one, then we talk about it. Come on, Todd.
That's exactly what we do.
Stop yelling at Todd.
Stop yelling at me. You know how we do this. Tonight, for your kind consideration, we're going to cover the Chinese Grand Prix in all of its glory. Before doing that, though, I typically have to go ahead and introduce my co-host, who, I got to say up front, he is supposed to already be in Sebring, but he's not. I'm going to tell you, I don't know what he's doing over there, but we're going to get to the bottom of this in the New York Minute. I cannot have Paul super clipping on his travel, all right? Slowing the whole thing down. You know him. You love him.
Come out of the wasteland. He's bad. He's beautiful. He's crazy. It's...
Hello, everybody. This is Paul Charles, the International.
All right, Paul. Are you super clipping on your travel? What's going on? You're slowing down.
It was kind of a sad story, really. It was a dog story, and yeah, my dog got sick, and so he's back home now, thank goodness. But he had to go to pet hospital and all that stuff, and there was no way I could leave today. You know, I had to take care of him, so he's doing better. He's doing better. He's eating like a champ, but he had pancreatitis. It's a brutal thing for a little dog to get. Yeah. So it's very
now
worrying,
you're tugging at my heartstrings. You know I'm a dog person.
I know. Yeah. Me too. Very much hurts. So so you got to look after the dogs.
Well, for sure. You know, things have priority in life. Dogs are one of them.
They do. It just means I got to get up at 5 in the morning tomorrow to get Sebring in time. But there you go. Such is life.
Yes. Such is life. Yeah, it's going to be down at the airport.
Mass hysteria.
You know how it's going to be.
It probably will be.
I'm sure it will. Oh, boy, Paul, the Chinese Grand Prix. I know you're thinking. What the hell? I was too, you know. You and I, we were trying to be professionals. We were always above it. We were trying to be professionals and not, overreacting, I guess I'm supposed to have the wide eyes and go, oh, my gosh, Fernando is not driving. But it's just not how we roll here. We don't panic. But we wanted to give it some time. But China, I don't know that revealed any great deviation from our critique, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it was as expected. It wasn't as impactful as Australia, but it's not to do with the rule change. It's to do with the track change. But still, I think we're still 50% where we should be to bring. Let's rein that baby in a little bit. And
exactly.
The yo-yo racing is not what I want to see. I want to see battles. I don't mind a driver being able to save energy where another driver is maybe using it all because they're just not being able to get through this series of corners fast enough or whatever, and then use that advantage to pass with. But I just don't want these automatic blow-bys. It's like DRS in its worst form right now, right? And
That's exactly what it feels like. DRS in its worst concoction. Yeah. I'm totally with you. That's a much better description of it than I could muster up. So, Chinese Grand Prix. I don't know what the final attendance says. Sold out, Paul. That's all it said on screen. So I got to take that as writ. You could probably write that on a damn rock.
Yeah, I mean, it did look pretty busy, and I didn't see all the elementary school kids with their Hello Kitty
the school buses.
Yeah, the first year where I think that was what they did. Or was that Korea? I can't remember. But just bust them all in. Right? Kids are like, where are we? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Where's Hello Kitty? You told me Hello Kitty was here. But
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It looked pretty packed. It did.
Yeah. And the thing I appreciate is the fans' reactions. So, I mean, they were into it, right? They were, so obviously they're following the sport now and they're into it. And you got, Georgia make a pass, they get all excited, or if someone would miss a spot or run wide, they get all excited. And that's great. Not that there's, the Chinese market doesn't like F1. It's just not something we're used to seeing from the Chinese Grand Prix. So there is that. Well, anyway, let me do a race recap real quick, and then we're going to get into the meat of it. Only 18 cars started after Norris and Piastri, Bortoleto, and Albon dropped out for the race with technical issues. Hamilton had a great launch, and took the lead at turn 1, but Antonelli retook it a couple laps later, so put him back behind it. The race turned really on the only safety car, which is lap 10. That was a Lance Stroll stopping on track with a battery issue of some sort, and most of the field switched from mediums to hards. And after the restart, George kind of struggled with that restart. That was not great for him. Slipped back briefly, allowing Hamilton through while the fight for the podium intensified up front. But then Leclerc passed Hamilton. Russell then moved into second. And Hamilton later retook third from Leclerc. And the battle, all of that battle back there really kind of helped Kimi pull out a spread and set the pace, and he did so. So that was good. Yeah. He built a gap out front. Max, his woes, retired with an ERS cooling issue. Ocon picked up a 10-second penalty for clouding the side of Colapinto and raised his hand on that. He said it was his fault that was good sportsmanship. And then Kimi held on for his maiden Grand Prix win, led Russell home for Mercedes 1-2. Hamilton finished third for his first Ferrari podium. So all in all.
Not Kimi Räikkönen, by the way. It was Antonelli.
No, yeah. Boy, that was embarrassing.
That was embarrassing.
I get it, Kimi Räikkönen. We've only had the one Kimi, and I get it and all that. But boy, at the world stage on a podium, and Antonelli's like, "What?
What? Did you hear that?"
Yeah, that
poor
was
guy.
Great.
This is my one race.
This is my one race, and you call me another Kimi. Great, thanks. Read the scoreboard, dude.
Yep.
So anyway, that is it. Well, let's jump in. We'll talk about Mercedes. Their race overviews. Mercedes, really a great weekend for them. Had Kimi lost the lead at the start, regained it 2 laps later, controlled the race. George really struggled initially, dropping behind both Ferraris at the start again and at the restart. And then he had trouble really bringing those hard tires and temperature. And I thought that was kind of interesting, a little bit of a departure from last year's Mercedes, which they seemed really good at doing. Both drivers, though, made some real decisive passes to secure the Team 1-2 finish, a great result. We'll start at the sharp end with the winner, Paul, and start with Kimi. He started from pole, lost a position to Hamilton off the line, reclaimed the lead and turn 14 hairpin on lap 2. Thought it was a good move. Managed the safety car restart really well on cold tires, and then was able to pull away from the Ferraris and Russells as they were fighting behind him. But he did set the fastest lap on lap 52, despite tires being pretty much at the end of their life. I thought that was impressive too. I did have him for the fastest lap, so I got the point on my fantasy GP.
Ooh,
for that.
Look at you!
I know. And everything else I sucked at. But anyway, he recorded his maiden Grand Prix win and became the second youngest race winner. I think they said the first Italian to win an F1 race, and was it like 20 years, like Fisichella or something like that?
Fisichella, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy if you think about it.
That's a long time. Yeah, you're used to hearing the Italian anthem on the podium from all those Ferrari Schumacher years and everything.
I know.
At least we are, I guess, but people haven't heard that for a while. But
it brought back memories hearing both the German and the Italian back to back, right?
Definitely does. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, Ferrari are going to be the spoilers for this Mercedes championship battle, aren't they? It's like you get the start of. Luckily, Kimi got a decent start, because he's had horrendous starts, even in the sprint. Falling way back. So at least he didn't fall back 7 places. It was just 1.
Yeah.
But then, the Ferraris get in the battle and kind of split, make a bit of a gap for Kimi, which kind of helped him throughout the whole race, really, that fight from Ferrari against George. But him putting in the fastest lap, I don't know. sounds a bit dodgy for me. I mean, that's a Verstappen-esque thing, and I'm sure, it's just to kind of stick a nail in a coffin or whatever, but probably not what you want to do, because obviously he also ran straight off the road.
Cooked it.
At the end, too, so he scared himself. So
he did scare himself.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet, but he did a phenomenal job. And at that start sequence in the S's there, Leclerc was very nice to him, quite honestly. But he had his elbows out, and he wasn't going to give in to Leclerc, which was good. The rest, he just kind of used that superiority of the Mercedes to just tick Lewis off and then control the race from there. So it was a phenomenal job. Can easily get the best of you when you're leading your first F1 race and getting ready to win it, but he didn't crack under it. He doesn't seem to have that part of things as a negative,
Totally
mental strength.
agree.
I would say, he's obviously still racecraft is not necessarily his ultimate skill level, but I think mental strength definitely is, because he's come off of, like in Australia where he destroyed the car and then got back in the car and laid down a great qualifying effort, which was great. And then here, once again, just leading that race, taking that pressure. As I said, Ferrari are helping him out a little bit, but still, you can't knock it, can you?
Yeah, you can't. I love this kid. You and I have chatted about this. But you bring up a really good point, and this is what I think you're so much better at solidifying these thoughts than I am. But that's kind of exactly what it is I really like about. Is he ragged? Is he pushing the envelope? Has he crashed? Of course he has, but so did Max, so did Lewis, so did Vettel, right? This all happened. This is, all the champions have gone through it. Lando's gone through it, right? Piastri putting the wall at Baku, those kind of things. That happens. And he does that, okay? But he's 19 years old. But to your point, what I see in him is not only pace, I'm seeing him push the envelope, go a little too far, go 11 tenths, and I understand. And you have some deference because he's young and he's learning. But what I don't see him is, to your point, is cracking under pressure. He's got a 7-time world champ behind him. That's all right. He balls it up in qualifying, jumps back in the car, has a great race, or balls it up in practice and then jumps back in a rebuilt car, qualifies second, right? He doesn't seem to get the cage rattled that much about that. And I think that's great. I just couldn't be happier for this young guy. I just think he had a great race. Toto made a point of all the naysayers about he's too young and that sort of thing, and he was kind of making hay with the sunshine, and so he should. There was a lot of negative comments about that, but just couldn't be happier for this kid. I just think he's a super great kid and incredible talent, and very excited to see if he can turn this. I mean, I kind of feel like at this point, Paul, it's going to turn down, it's going to move the papaya rules issue over to Toto's world, and we're basically going to see Kimi and George go at it hammer and tongs this season. Yeah,
I think, it's as Kimi grows in confidence and experience, it's going to get closer and closer, right? Diminishing returns for George there on Kimi being a rookie or whatever. So I think Kimi's just going to go. So it should get
from
really
strength to
interesting.
Strength.
It should get really interesting pretty soon now. And then, what does Toto do with that? He's been there before. And George, and the relationship obviously between Kimi and Toto is extremely strong.
Very
so
tight.
George has got to be careful.
He does.
I mean, he's got to be heads up, not just behind the steering wheel, but in the garage too, to give himself a shot. Yeah.
And I don't know, like I said, I mean, George seems like kind of a prickly personality, and I get it. He's never really been a favorite there. It was always Lewis and then Kimi. Now it gets, all the attention, and Kimi deserves it. I'm not taking anything away from Kimi, but George is right now the faster of the two, and should be, right? But you're right. He's got to be careful, both politically in the garage, side to side of the garage, with lead ownership, and what they prefer and strategy.
It's nearly like Survivor. He's got to get alliances going, right? Then he can't outwardly get prickly about if he thinks Kimi's getting superiority or whatever. He's got a big mental game to play this year.
He really does. Well, talking to me, he finished second. He had a lot of heavy lifting in this race, Paul. Started second, fell behind both Ferraris at the start, lost further ground after the safety car restart, fought back past Leclerc and Hamilton to successive moves to secure P2. Admitted that just struggling to switch on the hard tires, and that cost him a chance to win. Magnanimous, congratulate Kimi as you'd expect. But it probably goes a little unnoticed, but he had a lot of heavy lifting to do in this race.
Yeah, he was busy for sure, and I think both Mercedes had trouble with that hard tire and getting it going. It just Kimi was not under pressure, and he had a buffer there with the two cars. I can't remember, Colapinto and Ocon maybe was between, and they were on old tires, so he wasn't really threatened from behind by those guys. And then you had the Ferraris and George fighting it out. So even though he probably had the same problem that George did, it didn't have any real effect on his position.
Yeah. No, that's true. Very true. So Mercedes 1-2 looks like the team to beat for sure.
Sure.
Yes. Ferrari, to your point, Paul, from their race, they had a launch advantage, did a great job. That paid dividends at the start. Both cars surged past Russell and challenged Antonelli for the lead. There did Lewis. The tire warm-up and pace management after the safety car meant they really couldn't keep the Mercs behind him at that point. And then the intra-team duel between Hamilton and Leclerc, I thought, was good, but they battled back and forth a little bit. That certainly would have been one of the highlights of the race and probably cost them a shot at a higher spot, but they went at each other. We'll start with Lewis finishing P3, Paul. Started third, jumped into the lead around outside of turn 1 is a good move. Lost the lead to Antonelli after a couple laps. Later fought wheel-to-wheel Leclerc and Russell. Reclaimed third from Leclerc in the closing laps, giving Ferrari its first podium with Lewis Hamilton and first podium since 2024 season. So good to see Lewis back on the podium. Good to see his overall sort of demeanor and his body language seems much more positive about this. I think even despite, had it been a reverse and Leclerc on the podium hitting fourth, I think he still would have been, that feeling like they have a platform that he feels might be development time and that they can develop and may respond. But good to see Lewis in a more positive mindset for sure.
Yeah, no, he was pretty happy. It was the best race, most entertaining race he'd ever had in his life. We've heard those things from Lewis before. But that's okay. It's in the moment, right?
It is in the moment. Yeah.
But I think he's definitely, the frustration of last year makes what they're doing this year even more elating to him. That they've got a shot. They're obviously not on par with the Mercedes, but they're the next best thing. And any chance, if you're the second best car on the grid, there's going to be opportunities there to win Grand Prix as they go along. If Ferrari can develop, then they're going to get closer and closer. The one thing I will say is that the battles between those two guys, if they really want to beat Mercedes right now, before maybe they can try and get their car on par, they literally need to work together and use these systems that are on the cars here, the battery systems, deployment systems, overtake modes, whatever, to stay in the hunt. If they could choreograph that and stay in tune and don't worry about fighting each other, because I think the only reason they're fighting each other is because they thought beating Mercedes is a lost cause. But you should never give up on that. And I think that it would take a lot, and it would take a lot of, ego quelling to do so. But if they could have worked together, they may have had a chance to both be on the podium and beat George. I'm not sure if they could have beat Kimi, but I think that's the only chance they have right now. If both Mercedes stay on the track of winning a Grand Prix, till, as I said, hopefully they can make some changes and bring those cars more and more competitive. But that was just something, and I thought it was impressive that Lewis fell back. Look, Charles got by him, pulled away a little bit, but then Lewis kind of got it all together and then hunted Charles down and then passed him again, which you don't see very often in Formula One, honestly, once the deal's over. But I think that once again says something about the Pirelli tire for this year, which we also saw when we saw Colapinto stay out. And ultimately, you would have thought he would have gone backwards, but I think the tires are a lot more resilient. And Kimi putting in the fastest lap on lap 52 on an old hard. I think there's just the tires are probably the best innovation we've seen this year in the new rule pack, is that enables drivers to take care of their cars and then re-attack. Or to have a decent pace even on an old tire versus a new tire. So I do like that, and I think people like Lewis with his experience probably worked in his favor to be able to, as I said, kind of regroup and then re-attack Charles ultimately to beat him. Yeah,
you bring up a really good point, Paul. I think in these early stages, it seems like in the first two races, that's all I have to go on, but it does seem like the Ferrari at the starts are there or thereabouts. They passed, George. They look to be competitive as everyone's using their energy initially. Mm-hmm. But if they get out of sequence of where and how they used energy and they give George or a Mercedes a gap, then there's really no recovery at that point. So to your point, if I'm sitting on Ferrari's garage, their pit wall, I'm thinking, let's use both Ferraris to hunt the Mercedes in a pack to continuously stay close within a second or so and continuously mirror that energy usage to keep them there so they're not eventually out of sequence of how they and where they use energy to create a gap that's unrecoverable, Right. If they can be close and pass each other back and forth early in the stages, maybe it's better to slot in and just mirror that pace and just keep them within attack range for later in the race if they can hang on tire-wise and everything else.
Right.
But I'm kind of with you. I think maybe at this point it's the Ferraris would work better as a hunting pack of two and picking off one of the Mercs, for second.
Right. It's going to take a lot of discipline to do that.
It would. It would. Yeah, it really would. But I'm kind of agreeing with you on that. Charles talked about it, finishing P4, moved up to second at the start, got pinched onto the curb and dropped behind Hamilton, passed Hamilton for second on lap 24, had a dual swap in positions multiple times, ultimately finished fourth after Hamilton repassed him and Russell cleared both Ferraris. Said he really enjoyed the fight with Lewis, though. Not a bad result. For Ferrari, a third, fourth, and Charles seemed okay with being fourth.
Yeah, no, it's as I said, their goal is to win and to be competitive, and it was at least the most entertaining part of the race, the back and forth with Ferrari. A little like holy moly! I think I blurted out a couple of times. Probably wasn't holy moly the words, but. Took it pretty close there. I think those guys, but they're the best of the best. So I'll leave them to it. But you definitely don't want to risk the car when you're pretty close to Mercedes, and you don't want to lose any points. So that when maybe your car does come a bit on strong, the deficit isn't so large. Yeah, agreed.
First feel good story of the weekend's got to be Haas. Paul. Haas continued a strong start in 2026. Ollie Behrman capitalizing on the safety car and others' misfortune and attrition behind him, but he secured a career best fifth. Esteban Ocon's gamble on hard tires saw him briefly run third. Had a collision with Colapinto and a penalty that dropped him out of the points. To start with, Ollie, I'm telling you, what a great run this kid had. I think he's depriving a faster car an exceptional driver at this point. He started 10th, avoided Hadjar's opening lap spin, pitted under the safety car, used fresher tires to charge through the midfield, eventually leading to the train behind the top four, brought the car home in a comfortable fifth, and said the timing of the safety car was lucky and that he was a deer in headlights during Hadjar's spin. He said, I probably should have gone right, but it was at a fraction of a second, and it just freaked me out, and I went left. But what an exceptional performance by Ollie. I just, like Kimi, I just really like this kid. I think he's really come on song and very strong player here. I think Ferrari's got an instant replacement here in him. I really do.
Yeah, I think they should be very happy with his development for sure. I still can't figure him all out, honestly, mentally. I know I've got my problem with his accent, but also I'm trying to figure out where his brain is. But is he full attack guy or is he very methodical? I'm just not sure where he is there, but I think he's going to get there no matter. I think he's going to have both.
Yeah,
and I think he's definitely in control enough where he's getting the results, and by far splitting himself apart from Ocon in the garage, right? And that's ultimately his goal. But yeah, I mean, I think you called it before the season started. You thought Haas were going to be really strong, and for sure in his hands they absolutely are. Ocon kind of does his normal thing and literally shoots himself in the foot every time with mental errors. But
yeah, it really does. I mean, they're running, 4th, 5th in the championship. They're ahead of Red Bull.
Yeah, and they may stay ahead of them at this run.
And they may at this point, right?
Yeah.
Just super happy for Gene, the entire team over there. You know, they've toiled away. There's a lot of men and women working that team have toiled away for several years now, trying to be competitive in that midfield. And, as fate would have it, Ferrari's got a good PU, and they're making the best of it, and striking while the sun's shining, which you got to do. Will they be able to continue to outdevelop the teams behind them, the stronger teams like Red Bull and McLaren? Possibly not. So harvesting as many points as they can get right now, it's why it's critical that Esteban get into the points too. Yeah, they've got to do that. He started he finished P14, started 16th on the hard tires, stayed out during the safety car. Took him all the way up to 3rd place for track position, struggled on older tires, and eventually collided with Colapinto when exiting the pits, earned him a 10-second penalty, relegated him to 14th. He apologized, raised his hand, admitted that he misjudged the gap. But those are just not errors they can afford right now when they've got this window of potentially scoring a lot of points that they could then nurse to the end of the season, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, with the cancellation of the two Middle Eastern races, they've that's going to give the teams with a lot of clout a lot more time to develop and fix their woes. So you're right, they need to make hay while the sun shines, but they've really kind of only got one race to do it, and it may, the other teams may be able to eclipse them and get a handle on things. But it's. Yeah, I mean,
that point,
at
Paul,
this point, with attrition,
you make a good point on the gap, the whole month of April, right? You could see teams like Williams doing some serious development to get up in that fight, and even Alpine, right? So it's
and Honda, Honda are like, thank goodness,
thank you,
thank you. Can I say thank you more? Yeah. But Honda need it more than anybody, right? But
yeah, they do.
With the attrition rate as it is, I mean, Haas have a chance of getting on a podium if a race goes in a crazy manner. They really are knocking on the door, especially with McLaren and Red Bull not really having anything magical right now to show. I think that, for sure McLaren will figure some stuff out. I think Red Bull's woes are a bit deeper, but yeah.
Yeah. I think if I was Ferrari, I'd roll the gamble and I'd bring Ali in next year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Place of Leclerc or Hamilton, one or the other, but I'd bring him in.
In place of Leclerc, interesting. I could see Hamilton just because he may be onto other things. But yeah, you don't want to wait too long, do you? With a talent that. Yeah.
No, you got to strike, and he's performing to that level. Leclerc, I'm a huge Charles fan, love him, but there's just a history like this race of those unforced errors that you just don't expect from a guy of that experience. And so we'll see. Alpine, my other prediction at the beginning before the season. All my predictions are somehow percolating up towards the top, Paul.
Yeah,
it's a shame my fantasy GP doesn't represent that.
Maybe you don't believe in yourself enough to make those picks.
Maybe not. But Alpine scored double points again for second race of the season. Pierre Gasly recovered from a pit stop delay to finish sixth, and Colapinto claimed his first F1 point despite the collision. So
is it his first point or first point with Alpine? Didn't he score
first point with
Williams?
Alpine?
Yeah,
he did with Williams. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for clarifying that. First with Alpine, yes. Pierre again. Another driver depriving a much faster car of a very good driver. Pierre just qualified seventh, lost ground when pitting under the safety car, fought back, very strong pace, passed Colapinto and Ocon, finished comfortably in sixth. Afterwards, he noted he was not. He was happy to back up his Melbourne points, but he's disappointed miss on out on fifth place because he felt like that was on, and he could see fifth place and he was hunting it. And he said, "I just ran out of laps, but I felt like I could have got fifth." But a great race from Pierre, and you and I rate Pierre. And look, I'd love to see him in a faster car, but I'm really happy Alpine are now in the points, challenging for best of the rest, and Pierre at least has that at his fingertips.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're not really a factory team anymore, are they? Or do they perceive themselves as a factory team? No. So, it is great to see him. And I always root for Gasly. And it has been a shame to see him struggle so much in poor cars. So I'd love to see him, as much as I'm maybe not an Alpine fan, because I'm a Gasly fan. So I'm glad they're giving him something to work with, because he should do some special races, and it's so easy to dismiss a fifth place as a super special race or a sixth place, but he really does put in some impressive performances from time to time.
He does. Yeah, he's very quick. Franco, good race for him. 10th, scored his first point for Alpine, started 12th, though hard tired, stayed out there in the safety car for track position. That worked a treat, briefly leading the race. After pitted, he rejoined ahead of Ocon, but was hit by Ocon, losing a position, damaging his car. Fought back even though after that happened to 10th to score his first point, and said the result was bittersweet because he believed more was possible. And I agree with him. I think more was possible for him. Hated to see it, but polite golf applause. We haven't been on fire for Franco, and it's great to see him do well. And I think he needed it mentally to get in the points and to deliver, and certainly the team needs it. So
it's
good.
Probably that hug from Flavio. Did you see that?
I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, Flavio gave it. Wasn't the kiss of goodbye. It was a hug. Which, you don't usually see Flavio give any emotion, but...
No, you don't.
Yeah, but I was really impressed with Colapinto on the old tyres. I think that made his race. I think Ocon ultimately, did take some points away from his ultimate scoring potential.
Agreed.
But his pace on the old tyres was really good and put him in a really good place, so that when he did pit for tyres, he could come on. The damage to the car made it unfortunate, else he would have got Sainz anyway, I think, even with the spin, but the damage, I think, just kind of torched his car a little bit, and he just ran out of performance there in those last few laps when he really needed it.
Yeah, I think so too. Racing Bulls. Racing Bulls executed contrasting strategies. Liam Lawson started on the mediums and pitted just before the safety car, much like Max did, so that didn't help him out. Forced a long second stint, and then rookie Arvid Lindblad began on hards, gambled on staying out for track position, did so. They scored points but lacked sort of outright pace, very much kind of like the Red Bulls. We'll start with Liam, Paul. He finished in P7, a great result for him. He started 11th, pitted on lap 10 before the safety car dropped him back, recovered through the field with a series of overtakes to finish 7th. Said he was pleased with the bank of 6 points despite the lack of raw speed. And I kind of think that comports. He beat both Red Bulls. So I think there's that. And I think very much kind of like I was saying for Franco, I think Liam needed this mentally to get in the game, to have a good result for the team, score a decent amount of points for the team, and deliver. So I think it's a good weekend for Liam.
It was a good weekend. He fought pretty hard there on the track, so I think he made some good moves and didn't bump into someone. That was good. After the first race, under a bit of pressure there from his teammate, his rookie teammate, who performed really well. And you don't want to get out-qualified in the first race of the season by someone who's never been in a Formula One race. That's not good look. So, it was very important for him within the team. His teammate quick, but he's made some errors, hasn't he? Which I guess you're going to tend to do at the beginning of your Formula One career. But that guy's quick, so Liam's got to keep his eyes in the back of his head too as the season progresses. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Arvid. He finished 12th, started 17th on the hard tires, stayed out during the safety car, briefly ran in the top 10. After pitting, he fell back. Then he had that spin in turn 14, to your point, unforced error, eventually finishing 12th. Admitted that he needs to work on tire management and energy deployment, but that's fair. That's a fair cop, right? You know, he's brand new to this series. Yeah. Noting that the car's all new to him, and it is. Look, we had deference last year with Gabby, right? He had some unforced errors, put it in the wall, had some spins, and it's all a learning curve. I would expect no less from Arvid. Isaac had his moments last year, so I think we can have some room for Arvid to throw it off the island occasionally, and it'll take him time. But to your point, he is quick.
Yeah, he's quick, and that's what every team wants to see first. You know? You can't teach someone speed, so to speak, but you can teach them racecraft and composure, right?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, his natural speed is definitely there, and it's going to come on for him.
Yeah. Speaking of composure, Red Bull's decision to start both cars on the soft. I was scratching my head on that.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
That was really weird. I don't know. I mean, maybe they thought, look, our starts are dodgy. We need to put softs on. But I mean, even in qualifying, those softs were good for 5 laps, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they, clearly they were seeing data and something different than what I was seeing. But anyway, Isaac spun on the opening lap. Max lost places at the start again, bogged down. That's terrible. His race ended early with an ERS cooling issue, and Hadjar recovered to score the team's first points of the year. We'll start with Isaac. I know, first points. Haas is ahead of him. It's crazy. Right? Isaac Hadjar finished in P8, started 8th on the soft tire, initially held position, spun by himself when fighting Behrman at turn 13, and pitted at the end of lap 1 for new tires, rejoined at the back, climbed through the field to 8th, securing his first points for Red Bull. He said he enjoyed the overtakes, but lamented the spin, noted the team lacks overall pace, does our Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah. Yeah, he really lucked out with that safety car to make up all that time he lost from the spin. Else he would have been pretty much lost, maybe fighting out with the Cadillac. So he was a bit lucky there, absolutely. But we are going to see a lot of safety cars and full course yellows right now. There's the cars are just not quite there yet. So but yeah, I think he was a little lucky, but it's crazy that's Red Bull's first point. So Verstappen didn't score any points in Australia.
Maybe I got that wrong. Did he?
I don't remember Australia now, but
I don't remember. That's terrible.
I know.
I should just know.
Where's
that
our researchers?
Off the top of my head. I know. I should know that. I'm going to look it up now.
Look it up. Play some theme music while we're waiting.
Oh my! I should know these things like a steel trap, but I don't. It's like I watch it, I enjoy it, I make notes on it, I take copious notes during the race, and then it's gone. Let's see. You're going to make me look. Yes, he did. You're right. Thanks for catching that.
There we go.
Yes. There we go. Sorry.
I was flabbergasted by your comments.
Yeah, my bad. That was terrible.
Stop yelling at Todd.
Okay, I'll get it straight. What are we on, Williams now?
We went through Red Bull and screwed that one up, so let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's not dwell, Paul.
Yeah, nothing to see
Max
here.
was a DNF.
These aren't the droids you were looking for. Nope.
Yeah, right. Both are hardworking and serve you well. Okay, Williams. Speaking of, woo! Yes, Williams. Williams weekend split between a non-starter and a gritty points finish for the Spaniard. That's right.
Yeah.
Alex Albon failed to start due to hydraulics issue, and Carlos recovered from a poorly timed pit stop to rescue ninth. Did our Carlos finish ninth? He qualified poorly, but made a strong start. He's had some good starts, the first two. Pitted just before the safety car like Max did, and that, fell back from there. Then he really kind of settled into really just tire management, defending that position, right? Climbed up to ninth, held off Colapinto, said he was proud to score the team's first points, praised the crew's effort despite lacking pace. He said the April bake is much needed to develop. I agree with him.
Yes, it will be.
It was a good drive from Carlos, though.
It was a good drive by him. Surprising that he got in the points, honestly, because they really don't have a lot of pace. But I think other people kind of fumbled a little bit and helped him out a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. And then Alex Heza did not start. Scheduled start from pit lane, and after setup changes, but a hydraulic problem discovered on the laps to the grid prevented him from taking the start. He said there's little to learn from this weekend from him, and said the team needs to work on their reliability, which is Captain Obvious. Yes. Exactly. Audi continued to struggle with similar reliability. Gabby was a fourth non-starter. But Nico, starting on the hard tire, avoided the incidents, ran as high as 10th, but then very slow pit stop, dropped him back. Let's talk about his race. He finished in P11, started 13 on the hard, stayed out during the safety car, moved up in the order for track position, so that was good. Fell back as the faster cars on fresher tires got around him. Then he had that 16-second or so. I'm somewhere around 16 seconds.
That's brutal, stop. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much put paid to his race at that point. Still completes his first full race, so that's good. Not quite in the points, but a learning opportunity. And as I said, Gabby was a DNS.
Yeah.
So much to talk about.
There.
Yeah. Let's see. Cadillac. Well, Cadillac race compromised the first lap clash between its drivers. That's right. They hit each other.
Controversy.
Well, it's exactly
controversy.
What it was. It was controversy, Paul.
Oh, sorry.
Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez made contact turn 3. Perez spun and the both dropped to the back. Both cars finished, signaling progress, that they both finished. We'll start with Valtteri because he did nothing wrong. He started near the back. Contact with Perez at the start cost time, but then he had basically from there kind of just a trouble-free race, cruised to the end, overtook the struggling Aston Martin and finished P13. He was proud of the team for getting both cars home and noted clear progress since Melbourne, so that's good. He's seeing progress. Not much to talk about, but the Sergio thing we can talk about, Paul. He collided with his own teammate on lap 1 and spun, lost over 20 seconds, later suffered energy deployment issues, hampered his recovery. The whole reason Cadillac brought in 2 veterans is so they wouldn't do this,
yes.
Right?
The first and last rule is don't hit each other.
Right.
That's all we've got. The
reason we hired veterans is so we don't do this thing. We could have got 2, rookies and to be be expected, but come on.
Yeah. What are you doing? Come on. You're
Checo.
Better than this.
You're better.
You like my face? You like it?
Yes, sir.
I mean, ultimately, they need miles. There's no battles between drivers. They're not fighting for anything except just to bring this team up and to make a mistake like that, which potentially could have taken both their cars out.
Both.
And then you're making no data. You're learning nothing, right?
Right.
Very poor.
Yeah.
Very poor.
Very poor. Very poor. Speaking of very poor, Aston Martin race overview. Aston opted to start both cars on the hard tires to avoid pitting under the safety car. The strategy backfired. Lance Stroll's car switched off with a suspected battery issue on lap 9, causing the safety car, and Fernando later retired due to severe vibrations, both DNFs. Fernando started 18th, leapt to P10 at the start thanks to a very strong jump at his start, which was impressive. So the Honda was capable of doing that. Struggled with vibrations from lap 20, retired in 34 because of safety reasons. Said he had fun, but the vibrations were at a level that was just not sustainable. And there's some on board that people are absolutely having making a meal out of him taking his hands off the wheel because it's vibrating so much, and it's like, oh my gosh. But to your point, safety issue is the FIA, some people saying, hey, if that's where they are and they literally have drivers taking their hands off the wheels, then the FIA needs to step in and make them not race until they solve that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, pretty harsh.
Yeah, I was looking at. I jumped in Fernando's car on the onboard at the start, and he got a good start, but also the waves opened up for him with Hadjar flying off the road and other people flying off the road to help aid him. I stayed on board for a while, and the car just doesn't have any power, doesn't have any pace, and even Fernando couldn't do anything to make any gains, and all he can do is somehow jump on opportunities at the beginning and then just gradually falls back. I didn't see that vibration till near at the end, and I don't know how you can hide that if you're holding on to the wheel. I don't know if there's vibrations within the car that gradually then loosens everything else up, and then the feedback goes into the wheel. I'm not sure it's there at the very beginning that they're dealing with it constantly, but I think eventually whatever's going on in that engine is just gradually shaking the car to pieces, and that's where the vibration. And Fernando just said, okay, I'm boxing now. They didn't even tell him. He was just like, yeah, I'm boxing now. I think they're basically probably telling him, beginning of the race, stay as long as you can, but when you can't do it anymore, just box the car, and that's where they're at. The only chance, I feel horrible for him. I want to see him, in a good car, because he is a very good driver. I'd love to see him get that chance again. But the best thing for Honda right now is that now 4-week gap that they've got, basically nearly like the whole summertime gap off to try and knuckle down. The next race is at Japan. So, hopefully they can fix a lot of those woes in that time.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And Lance did Lance things. He parked up, brought out the safety car, and had a battery issue. So not much to report there. DNF as well. And then, this one's tough to report on. Yeah.
All I can say is I'm glad Grace isn't doing the review today, because she probably switched the TV off after lap one.
She probably did. Yeah, this is McLaren. Yeah, Lando's kind of like,
oh, Jesus.
That's exactly how we all felt, Lando. McLaren, promising qualifying, turned to a disaster. Both cars suffered separate electrical failures, did not start the race. Andrea Stella confirmed the faults were unrelated and pledged to work closely with Mercedes to resolve them. 2 DNSs. Oscar, shame. Oscar qualified 5th. I think they would have been in the mix, and it would have been more exciting with the Ferrari and George, and they would have been there with Oscar being a spoiler, very frustrated, saying he's not used to watching the F1 races at the race.
One was self-inflicted, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then Lando qualified 6th, never made it to the grid. So very, very miserable weekend for McLaren, going from championship constructors and drivers to a DNS. It's brutal.
Yeah, Zach picked a good time to go to one of the IndyCar races, I think.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, no doubt. All right, well, let's give out some awards. First award we tend to give out is the Move of the Race. We like it.
Seriously, Todd?
Yes, we do.
We'll do it live.
Yep. Paul, what did you have for Move of the Race?
I'd say it's a bit hard to do the ultimate passes with the disparity in pace with these overtake modes and whatnot. But I'm going to give it to Lewis because of, as I said, he got passed by Charles. He was ahead of Charles. Charles got by him. He fell back a little bit and then charged up and then got back by Charles, which I think is super important for him. So I think that was worthy of a medal.
Get in there, Lewis.
It was. I'm going to go with George. I think it's double pass on Leclerc and Hamilton around, lap 28 to 30-ish, around that time frame. Struggled to warm his tires up, his hard tires, regrouped, outbrake Leclerc, turn 14, got past Hamilton. Bold moves. He knew it was on. He had a lot of heavy lifting to do. He was struggling behind both Ferraris. Meanwhile, his young teammates out leading, setting the pace. George put George, you said earlier, is he an attack guy like Max, or is he more calculated? And George is very much the latter, but he can attack when he's got to and does so. Say what you want about his personality and all the quirks or whatever, but George knows how to drive a car, and he does it damn well. And he didn't panic. He let the race come to him, put in the right moves when he had to. I think that was the move of the race to secure Mercedes 1-2, and I thought it was a good move. Leads us to the next one, which is really donkey of the race.
We'll do it live.
Oh, boy.
Not good enough, damn it. Not good enough.
No, not good enough, Paul.
No.
Who'd you have for donkey?
Well, unfortunately, the donkey is cloaked in papaya this weekend.
Ah!
Oh, Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, not great. One car's finished out of 2 races, and not 3 non-starts so far out of 4 cars. Not the greatest.
Not
for
good.
A championship defense. No, not at all.
It's not the good. I'm sure Grace is sitting at home going, what the hell? That's tough. Let's see. My donkey is Red Bull's soft tire gamble. That just completely backfired. I'm not quite sure. I mean, they know why they did. I just don't. Started both cars on the softs. Early grip, but Hadjar spin, Verstappen. His start just, bogged down. It's just very, very, very difficult weekend. So I'll give Red Bull the donkey of the race for that one.
Okie dokie.
Not good. And then finally, drive the race.
Sit there, Lewis.
Get down.
Yep.
Nice, Ron.
You got it. Drive the race. What'd you get, Paul?
Got to give it to Kimmy. How can you?
Absolutely.
Pole position, dominate the race.
Great
First
race.
win. Awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a great shout. To be different, I'm going to give it to Ollie. I think Ollie Behrman delivered a very mature performance, well beyond his experience. Started outside the top 8. 20-year-old avoided Hadjar spin, executed perfectly timed stop under the safety car, managed his tires to the finish, marched up through the midfield. Very calm handling of the pressure, smart racecraft. Like you said, is he attack? Is he a racecraft? He had much more experienced people around him, held his head. Just give him the nod for drive the race. I think he did a fantastic job.
Yep, well done.
Well done. Speaking of well done, Paul, as we back out of this podcast, a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. We would not do this without you. And if you like the podcast, you can go over and give us a good rating on your favorite podcast player. And most importantly, share it. Get it out there on the socials. Tell people about it. Say, hey, this is what I listen to. That would be incredibly helpful for us as well. And if you watch us on YouTube, if you watch these podcasts, hit like, share, bell icon. You don't see it, but it does help us out. If you do that, if you follow us, would be much appreciated. Paul, best of luck at the Sebring 12, my friend.
Thank you.
You feeling positive about it?
I'm feeling positive about it. It's one of my favorite tracks to drive, and I like the race. And we're still developing the Valkyrie, but I think the GT car's got a good shot as any. So let's go.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, folks. There's no F1 this weekend, but there is Paul, and the Heart of Racing Aston Martin team is racing at Sebring. It's a great track, folks. If you don't watch IMSA, give it a shot. this is a great race.
It really is.
It's a bumpy track, old school track. It's great.
Lots of action for sure.
Lots of action. Yeah, be sure to check it out. And then next week, Grayson will be back to talk about all the news, and I'm sure she's going to want to update all of you on the MotoGP happenings, I'm sure. but we'll get some F1 talk and news out of her, and we'll be back next week to do it again. And then we'll be back with Paul following week on the Japanese Grand Prix review. Until that time, this is Todd, a.k.a. Negative Camber, saying so long.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. It's not what I feel I've got to prove at all. I don't really want to prove anything. I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion. I was curious to find out what it was like to drive a car fast, to drive on a certain circuit, to drive a certain type of car.